Hey guys, welcome back to another installation of Judging Books by Their Covers. Before we get started, I just wanted to say if you've subscribed to my channel recently, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. It would mean so much to me, and it costs you absolutely nothing. And then you'll get notified when I upload new videos. I tend to do that on Tuesdays and Fridays, but in case I shift the schedule a little bit or add something new, you'll get notified. Also, if you enjoy this video, please like, comment, and share this video with anyone that you think might enjoy it. The best way to get things around is through word of mouth, so please do that. As usual, today we have 5 books that have been sent to me. I've never seen these books at all, never heard of them, and I'll be reacting to them for the very first time and then placing them into a rank, with 1 being the most likely for me to pick up if I saw it in a bookstore and for me to want to read and take home, to 5 being I don't hate this cover, but it's not necessarily something I would want to pick up and read, just judging it by its cover. That being said, let's go ahead and dig in. I don't know. So the first book that we're looking at today is called Down Cemetery Road. Sounds a little spooky. The author is Mick Herron. It's almost spelled like the bird heron, but with an extra R in it. So the author's name is at the top of the page, except at the very top of the page, there's a review quote that says, "Herron never tells a suspense story in the expected way." That's from the New York Times Book Review. And then there's the author's name, and then below the author's name it says author of Slow Horses. I can't even imagine what that book is about, but moving forward. The title of the book is actually at the bottom of the page, but then below the bottom, like below the title, it says an Oxford novel. So, sounds British. Now, the image that we're looking at that is taking up the whole cover, because, you know, all of the words just overlay on top of everything. It looks like a photograph of, like, a street. You know, the title says Down Cemetery Road, and it looks like we're taking a look through a photograph of a street. The buildings look pretty old, but I couldn't say how old. They're all very spiky, not necessarily gothic, but they have like columns and arched windows and bricks. So definitely older, definitely not contemporary or modern. I could not tell you where this could take place. Reading Down Cemetery Road, an Oxford novel, this makes me think it's somewhere in Europe, possibly England, but that's a guess. The picture looks like it was taken at either dawn or dusk, because it's not completely dark out like nighttime, but it is a little bit like dimmer, and then the like lights in the buildings are on, and so are the lampposts. So it's definitely dawn or dusk, and I don't really see any people. If there are any people, they're hidden behind the title on the bottom of the page, but I don't really see any people, like just at a glance. And yeah, there's like some buildings in the background, like one might be a church or a cathedral or just some really fancy buildings. Hard to say. But the first thing that really stuck out to me was the colors of the title and the author's name. The title is in a very bright white, a white font, but the author's name is in a very burnt orange. So it's a very interesting color, and it contrasts really well against the sky behind it of the photograph that's like a dimming blue, like I said, like the dawn or dusk of the day. So that definitely caught my attention first. I don't think I could guess what this is about if I don't have that review quote at the top of the page, which says, never tells a suspense story. So this is a thriller at the very minimum. So I do love thrillers, but without that review quote, I don't get much from this cover. And as much as the contrasting colors of the font and the background like caught my attention, it doesn't really catch my attention otherwise. So I don't think I would pick this book up first. I do think I would glance at it and kind of wonder what it's about, but it doesn't really seem like something I would pick up right away. But if I ended up seeing that review quote, I would pick it up because I do like thrillers. So I think I'm going to put this at number 4. This cover makes me think of the board game Clue and also the movie Clue, which if you have not seen the movie Clue, it's so good, one of my favorite movies. The next book that we're looking at today is called Murder at Holly House. Interesting title. The author is Denzil Merrick, I think is how you pronounce that name. I'm so sorry if it isn't. Now, there's a lot going on in this cover. There's a lot of little images like around, and the font is very, very interesting. Like if I, just at a glance, this font looks like if I was walking up to an Irish pub in America and this is the font of the name of the restaurant. This is what it would look like to me. This is what this font makes me think of. It's like that deep green, and it's, I don't know how else to describe it. That's just what it makes me think of. At the top of the cover, there is, I think it's a review quote. It's kind of hard to tell because I think it's, I don't know. But it does say, a quintessential slice of Yuletide murder mystery. I wonder if that means it's British because Americans don't really say the word Yuletide, so I wonder. Now underneath that, it just says Sun, so I don't know if Sun is, S-U-N, is a publication, a newspaper, I don't know. So I think it's a review quote. And then all over the page, there's just little images. And there's a couple of other phrases and review quotes. So in Murder, like, so the title Murder at Holly House is like kind of taking up the majority of the cover in the middle. And murder goes up in like a hill and then it goes down. So like the font is like swirling a little bit. And then between murder and at, it says, in a village of lies, ... And then under the word at, it says, death comes with the snow. So that falls in line with the review quote at the top, Yuletide mystery, Yuletide snow. That makes sense. There are 2 review quotes that are inside of the O of the word holly, and the O is like the magnifying glass rounded part. Like there's the handle and then there's the round part of the magnifying glass, and there's 2 review quotes in there. The first one says, the feel-good factor is off the scale, and that's from the Times. And then the next one is a wonderfully entertaining mystery. That's from someone named Ian Moore, likely another author. So talking a little bit about the images around this cover, because it's all very interesting. There is a lit cigarette directly to the right of the word murder. And then directly under the word at, there is a long line. It's a long match like you use to light a fireplace. And it's on fire as well. Like the cigarette butt is actually on fire. It's not just lit, it's actually on fire. And the match, the long match, is on fire, the tip. And then, let's see. Yeah, I already mentioned the magnifying glass that kind of, actually the handle goes through the O of the house and then creates the O of the word holly. So it's all very intertwined. But then the word house is at almost the bottom of the page, like just above the author's name. And there's a very old-fashioned perfume bottle that has one of those puff, like air puff balls at the end of it that you squeeze and then the perfume comes out. Things that you don't see anymore these days. Spraying the word house. And there is a little like lamp, not lamp post, but like wall mounted lamp at the very, very, very top left corner of the cover. And it kind of seems like right above the word murder, behind the review quote I read first, there's like a black and white drawing-ish of a very far away distant town or village. So maybe that's where our book takes place. I love this cover. It makes me feel so cozy. And yet it's a murder mystery. I'm not a true crime person, but this does make me feel cozy. I don't know what it is about it. It's just like, I don't know if it's because it's nostalgic, because all of the items on the page are not things that you see much anymore. Like, even people that smoke cigarettes, like, they don't light them with matches anymore. So that just feels old and nostalgic. And then the magnifying glass, again, most people don't use that these days. And then the perfume bottle. And then even, like I said, the font is so satisfying. It just makes me think I'm walking into an Irish pub, which I do enjoy that stuff as well. So I guess it's just making me feel cozy. It's making me feel nostalgic for something I never experienced, which is funny. So I do really, really love this cover. I love the feeling it gives me when I look at it. And I do love a good thriller. And this is definitely something that would catch my attention. I would see this and be like, I want to pick this up. That's why I do this. It's like, I love to judge books by their covers, because ultimately, like, the reason covers are there is to grab your attention. And so this is grabbing my attention. So I love this one so much that I'm going to put this at number 1. Oh boy, this is silly. So the next book that we're looking at today is called The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, play on words, by Ali Carter. And oh, next to the author's name, it says Of the Blonde Identity. I wonder if that's another, like, series that this author wrote. The title is obviously very cute, tongue-in-cheek. It's a play on words. I do like it. It's cute. Now, the cover looks drawn. Like, if I had to guess, someone drew this picture and then uploaded it onto a computer, and now it's the cover of this book. What we're mostly looking at is 2 people hugging a Christmas tree, essentially. They're taking up, I want to say, like, 3/4 of the page, and then the rest of the page is like a light sky blue, but you don't see clouds, so it's not like we're looking at the actual sky. It's just what the color of the background is. And the title and the author are both kind of tilted a little bit to the left, and then just kind of go on top of the tree and then towards the bottom of the page. So it kind of goes on top of all that. So the 2 people that are holding this Christmas tree, they're both kind of hugging it. Like, I'm not really sure why. It doesn't seem like they're trying to move it. It looks like they're just peeking around the Christmas tree at each other, which is kind of funny. They're both, actually, which is funny, they actually kind of look like siblings. They both have brown hair. They have, like, similar noses. But based on the way they're looking at each other, I'm guessing this is not a sibling situation. I'm guessing this is a romantic situation. I just think it's funny. So it's a man and a woman, and the man is on the right. He's coming from around the Christmas tree. He's like, has his hand on the outside of it, and he's looking over at the woman. He has brown hair, cut short, and he has very, very blue eyes, and wearing a knitted, patterned white sweater, and that's pretty much it. He has a very chiseled jaw. I will say that. It's drawn very, very chiseled. Then the woman is on the other side of the tree peeking around, and she has brown hair. I'd say it's like mid-length, kind of like a little bit longer than like a long bob. And she's wearing like a beige, thick jacket that zips up. It's a little bit puffy, so it's not like, it's for the cold weather, you can tell. And she's got very red lips, and it looks like she might have blue eyes, but they're like slightly darker blue. And she's also looking over at him very coyingly, with her hand also on the outside of the tree. So this is very, very cute. I think I would mostly pick it up because I'd be like, why does it look like the 2 of them are siblings, even though this is clearly a romance? So I do love that it's a play on words of the title, The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I don't know. It almost looks like the crime is they're stealing the Christmas tree, which is really funny. That would this title and cover would catch my attention. And it would catch my attention that they look so alike. I just don't know if this is something I would really want to read. I think I would pick it up and want to look at the back, just out of curiosity, because I'm like, why do they look like siblings? But I don't know. I feel in the middle about this, so I'm gonna put this one at number 3. So we only have 2 spots left. We have spot 2 and 5 left to fill. This one also feels very cozy. The next book we're looking at is called Counting Miracles, and the author is Nicholas Sparks. Have heard of him. I actually don't think I've read any of his books, which is really funny. I know a lot of his books, and I've actually seen a lot of the movies and never read the books. The title is at the very, very bottom of the page in a white font. It kind of looks like Times New Roman, just pretty simple. The author's name, Nicholas Sparks, is at the top of the page, and then right above that it does say #1 New York Times bestselling author, of course. Then the image we're looking at that takes up the whole cover, it might be a drawing or a painting. It doesn't look like a photograph, but we're looking at an image essentially of mostly what we're looking at is a landscape. So the sky takes up half of the page, and then the landscape takes up the rest of the bottom of the page. And there's a man and his dog, like in the distance, in the middle of the page, but like not super close to, you know, the forefront. So the landscape that we're looking at kind of seems like a field, and then there's definitely a forest in the background. So I think we're just in a field. There is a house that is on the left, a little bit further back, kind of closer to where the man and the dog are. Like a simple house, nothing huge, but it's not a cabin, definitely a house. And the forest that is on the other side, which is on like the right, is turning orange and red and yellow. So definitely changing of the seasons. Then the sky is a really, really bright, brilliant sky blue with some clouds, and you can even see the rays of sunshine coming in from the very, very top of the page. And the man and the dog, they're like walking away from us very clearly. And it's so cute because the dog is looking up at the man, and he's got one of those, I don't know what they're called, but they're hats, and they're like kind of square but round. Does that make sense? They have like a flat top and then sharp edges, and then, you know what I mean? Kind of like if you're thinking Mary Poppins, Bert, his hat that he wears in the scene where he dances with the penguins, that kind of hat. He's got on like a simple outfit, you know, like a windbreaker, some jeans, and maybe some simple loafers or shoes. It's kind of hard to tell, he's in the distance. But nothing particularly striking about that. Nothing that sticks out as what I mean. I do see a goat in the distance, by the way, so it definitely is a field of some sort. So Counting Miracles, this definitely sounds like a drama. There might be some sad parts of this book, some very heart-wrenching parts. I always get nervous when I see dogs on heart-wrenching kinds of book covers with those kinds of titles, because that stuff makes me sad. So I don't know if I would pick this up and want to read it. I think if I was going to, I would have to go on that website, Does the Dog Die? And I think, I don't know, do they do books? I know they do movies, but I would need to know if anything happens to the dog. I just can't handle it. But I'm not opposed to this book. I think I would pick it up and think about reading it, but it's definitely not my first choice, and I would feel apprehensive for sure. So this is gonna go at number 5. So that does mean our last book goes at number 2, regardless of how I feel, but that's okay. It's not number 1, so I feel a little bit less pressure. Oh, this is so adorable. Oh. So the last book we're looking at today that goes at number 2 is called A Boy Called Christmas. And the author is Matt Haig, and I've heard of Matt Haig before. Never read his books, but heard of him. And okay, before I get into why this cover is so adorable, there is a review quote at the top of the page that says, "Irresistibly readable, destined to become a Christmas and any time before or after Christmas classic." And that's by Chris Grabenstein. Sorry if I mispronounced. New York Times bestselling author. Now, this is so cute. So the whole page, the title is at like the top of the page, and so is the review quote, and it's in like a white font, kind of like when you read The Night Before Christmas font. And then the author's name is at the very, very bottom of the page in red, so it stands out. But the entire cover is a very deep sky blue. It's not bright. It's almost like a little bit foggy because you see snowflakes falling everywhere. There's little snowflakes all over the page as well. And what's front and center in the page is a very big close-up of the moon and a reindeer holding a little boy jumping across the moon, like the cow jumped over the moon kind of thing, but it's a reindeer, you know, flying across the night sky on Christmas. And this is clearly drawn. It looks like a children's book. Like when you read children's books and the illustrations are in there and there's some exaggerated features of the characters, that's what it looks like. And it makes me feel, it's just so adorable. And the little boy on the reindeer's back is like kind of has a very long, huge Santa hat on his head and has a green scarf and a red jacket, but then he has like regular like cut off pants and shoes, and he looks a little scrawny. So it's interesting. I don't know what this could be about. Clearly it's about this boy called Christmas, and it's just so cute and so adorable. I would love to read this. I would so pick this up and just automatically fawn over how adorable this is. So I am very happy that this is at number 2, and I might actually look into this once this video is over. So that is all for this week's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this week's rank. I'm very happy with this rank and probably will be going to look at all of these books. Even number 5, like I said, I don't ever hate number 5. It's just not something I would automatically pick up right away. Number 1 is, so. But that being said, that is all for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.